The NBA is officially back, and it started off with a bang. James Harden is back to his MVP caliber self. Westbrook has already had a game where he scored 0 field goals. I mean, what's new? But he played pretty good defense though, right? And the Jazz are 2-0. Who would have thought that before the season started? Who needs Victor Wembanyama when you have Colin Sexton? I mean, the Jazz clearly think they don't need him. These are a few things so far this NBA season that most people know about, but there's been plenty of exciting moments that have gone under the radar a little bit. Here are 4 unbelievable moments you missed during NBA opening week. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit a like and subscribe for consistent NBA content coming out throughout the NBA season. You don't want to miss any of it. First up is Paulo Bando and his incredible performance against the Detroit Pistons in his first ever NBA game. In the first game of his NBA season, Paulo put up 27 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists, with 2 blocks as well. Bando became the first player since LeBron to put up 25, 5, and 5 in their first NBA game. He also scored the most amount of points for a rookie in their first game in Magic history, and put up the most points in their rookie debut as a number 1 overall pick since Allen Iverson over 15 years ago. Some say Paulo resembles a young LeBron. You can definitely see this with the way that he gets down the lane and just freight trains through everybody to score. This wasn't just an exciting game for Paulo though. Number 5 overall pick Jaden Ivey had 19 points in his first ever NBA game, and he propelled the Pistons to a win. A ton of new rookies are looking super exciting this year, but the way Paulo started off, it's looking like the Rookie of the Year might be his for the taking. The second unbelievable moment so far in the NBA opening week was Patrick Beverly's debut for the Los Angeles Lakers. Goodness gracious. In Patrick Beverly's first game with the Lakers, maybe you'd think, oh, he toned down the fouls, he's on a new team, he wants to fit in, but he did the exact opposite. He was the same old Patrick Beverly we know, but even worse. Pat Bev in his Lakers debut versus the Warriors in the Chase Center ended with 5 fouls in only 24 minutes, shooting 1 of 5 from the field and 1 of 5 from 3. The worst moment was when he picked up his 4th foul only 12 seconds into the third quarter. This was after he'd been sitting on the bench for 5+ minutes after picking up his 3rd foul early in the second quarter. The Lakers went on to lose the game to the Warriors 109-123. Patrick Beverly is always a super interesting character wherever he plays, and it's not looking that great with the Lakers so far. Lakers fans, let me know what you think in the comments down below of Pat Bev and his first few games with the Lakers. Although it does look like he's bringing an interesting culture to the team, he's not doing that well in terms of his shooting or really anything else in general, but he's a pretty interesting guy. The third unbelievable NBA moment was Pascal's fantastic performance versus the Nets just a few days ago. Versus the Nets, Pascal put up the first triple-double of the NBA season so far, putting up 37 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists. This was Siakam's 4th career triple-double, and he did everything he could to help the Raptors win. Siakam made countless clutch plays down the stretch with assists and buckets of his own, but it just wasn't enough. You could see his improved passing and handle throughout the game as well, and he was just creating for others and himself left and right. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough for the Raptors as they couldn't survive big shots down the stretch from Kyrie, KD, and then Royce O'Neal ultimately to ice the game. As a Canadian fan, I love to see the Raptors do well, and so far they look pretty good this season, even with a 1-1 record. If Pascal can keep up this play and become a true number 1 option for the Raptors, I think the sky is the limit for them. The fourth unbelievable NBA opening week moment is a culmination of a bunch of different NBA opening week moments. It's the fact that there's a bunch of unlikely teams who have 2-0 records so far this season. 3 teams that most people thought wouldn't even make the playoffs have a 2-0 record. The Portland Trail Blazers, the Washington Wizards, and the Utah Jazz, the most unlikely of them all. Let's start with the Blazers. The Blazers are 2-0 so far, and they've looked pretty good in both of their games, and Dame looks to be back to his best. The Blazers are 2-0 after winning their first 2 games against the Sacramento Kings and the Phoenix Suns. Dame definitely looks back to his best too. His first game was a little bit slow with his shooting against the Kings, but he really picked it up against the Suns, scoring 41 points in an overtime win. The Blazers are actually pretty deep. I'm not sure why people slept on them to start the year. I think that they could surprise a lot of people and make a decently deep playoff run. In my opinion, this might be the deepest roster Dame's had in his whole time in the NBA, and if he continues to do his best like he has so far, I think they could be really dangerous. The next team with a 2-0 record so far is the Washington Wizards. They managed to beat a rebuilding Pacers team and the Chicago Bulls just after DeMar DeRozan had 32 points, and Bradley Beal was able to come up with a game winner. He looks to be back to his best so far. The Wizards actually have a pretty serviceable roster. They have decent depth, but I'm not sure that they've actually improved as much as all of the other teams in the East have. And don't forget, they actually had a pretty good start last season as well, and then they ended up falling off due to various reasons, injuries, etc. We'll see if they can keep up this pace for the rest of the season. Lastly, the Utah Jazz have easily been the most surprising team in the NBA so far, picking up 2 wins in their first 2 games against 2 really solid teams, the Denver Nuggets and then the Wolves in overtime in an extremely exciting game. In the first game versus the Nuggets, Colin Sexton showed out, literally transforming into a bull and just racing past Jokic to ice the game. In Game 2 versus the Wolves, the Jazz came back from down double digits in the first quarter to win in overtime, as Jordan Clarkson went absolutely ballistic with 7 trays, and Lauri Markkanen is finally showing his promise. He's also demonstrating that his Eurobasket form wasn't just a fluke. I think people forget that the Jazz traded so many players. They have so many different starting caliber players and depth. Me personally, I had them lower because I thought that they were going to be trading a bunch of their guys, but so far they've kept on to them. They've kept hold to Michael Conley, Jordan Clarkson, and a few other guys as well. So far they're sticking with these guys, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they let go of them in the future. But if they keep winning games like this, why the heck would you do that? Who knows if they can actually keep this up. But if they do, maybe they don't need Victor after all. If you enjoyed this video, you can check out my latest video, why Ayo Dosunmu is ready for a breakout NBA season. You can check that out right here. Thank you for watching. I value your time and I hope you enjoyed. And as always, stay rested. See you in the next one.